Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be interviewing Alanis, my friend from Novato High School, so let's get started. So, how did you come to be American?
Well, I'm really Salvadorian. I'm not necessarily American.
Well.
My grandpa got here in the 70s, I believe, illegally. And then he went back to El Salvador, and then he came back again, illegally. And then, and then he came back this time, legally. And as soon as he got his green card, he filed for papers for all of his children and my grandma, and here we are now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
How long did you live in El Salvador before you came here?
10 years.
So, when you were in El Salvador, did you have any? Obviously, getting papers is a huge process. So, probably I'm assuming throughout that process you had ideas of like what life was going to be like, or like just what was your perception of the United States?
If you ask anyone in El Salvador, like if it were a country, their only idea of the United States, money.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's the only thing people would think. And since we had family over here, everyone's like, "Oh, that family has money because there's family over there," and that's the only idea that they have. And like now that we're here, it's just like, wow, people actually work a lot. Like money doesn't grow in trees. But yeah, over there it's just that idea of like, okay, everyone's rich over there and you get good jobs, and it's basically your dream country. You don't have to like suffer any longer or like live in poverty. It's just everyone gets a house kind of thing.
Yeah. And I guess that might stem from like so many immigrant families, like the first people who go to the country send money back. So it makes sense that like you have that perception because that's what you get.
Because like over there, my aunt used to send us like 100 to 100 a month, and that was like more than enough, and we used to have like extra money. So it's like a lot over there.
Yeah, I remember my grandma did that for her sister too, so that makes sense. How would you define your political beliefs or like your beliefs about America now that you do live here? Like the transition from what you thought it'd be like to what it's like, and that could be like political sense or just
politically it's very different, just because over there when you think of politics, it's like associated with such a bad thing that everyone just runs away from politics. Like over there when you're electing someone, you don't elect the person that's like gonna do something for the people, but rather it's like, who's gonna steal less from us, kind of thing.
Because corruption's so ingrained.
Yes. And so when I came here, it's just like when it comes to politics, it's like so much more organized, and I guess you guys take it a lot more seriously because you know that the person you elect is actually going to do something for you guys. So it's just like such a big part of who you guys are, and you guys have a lot of patriotism inside of you guys. Like over there we don't really have that. So yeah, and coming over there I didn't really like think much about politics or like what it would be here in the US. Actually, when my mom told us that we were moving here, I was just like, I don't want to go. And then she was like, well, we have to go because now you have this great opportunity. I was like, wait, can I just give my papers to someone else? Like, is that how it works? And apparently it's not.
Like, you wanted to give your spot.
But that's not how it works apparently. But yeah, so I never really like thought of what it was going to be like here, because it was just like, for me, it was just like El Salvador's my country, and just gonna live there for my whole life.
It wasn't your home.
Yeah, I never thought I was gonna move here.
It's like a big mental transition.
Being not here, so yay.
Yeah. Are you happy you came in the end, or do you still kind of feel torn?
Yes and no, only because like over there, when I lived over there, my 2 cousins used to live with us. It was my mom, my cousins, and me, and I had my grandma over there, and my whole like all my friends were over there. And when I came here, my cousins came here as well. And when we went back like 2 years after I came here, we went to visit over there, and it's like nothing is the same. So like within 3 days of being there, I was like, I want to go back. I don't want to be here, because it's just like such a big change, and you're so used to like everything here. Like the bathroom in our house over there, it's like outside, so you have to like walk out the door and go to the bathroom if you want to go at night. So it's like, so it's just, it's a big change coming here and then going back over there, and you're like, wow. Because like over there, I used to think that my house was like a mansion, and I was like, oh man, I'm loving this life.
Yeah.
And now that like I've lived here and I went back, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a mansion.
Yeah. It's like perspective.
Yeah.
Like what you know is what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you had mentioned that political identity is something like really strongly felt to the point of maybe even being divisive. Like people dislike each other because of political identity. But would you say that in this country, people's political identity is the same as their identity, like their American identity, like how they see themselves as American?
It's just kind of like, for example, when we live in California, it's like a lot more liberal. It's like mostly like Democrats, and like I went to Virginia, which is where like a lot of my family lives, and over there it's like mostly a red state for the place where they're from, and it's just like so different to see how, because like coming here I was like in a bubble, I guess you could say, and I was like, oh, everyone here is like so accepting and it's so cool, and then you go to a different part and you're like, okay, so there's like two different sides to America. So I would say that the party, like your political views and like the party that you support has a lot in how you view other people, especially like when it comes to immigration and acceptance and things like that. I would say that it's kind of roots to your identity as an individual. What part?
Definitely. And I think there is a situation often where people try to disassociate from their political beliefs because in their heart of hearts they know like that's hateful or that's not right.
For sure.
So they just say like, oh, I'm just conservative, or oh, I'm just Democrat. Like kind of try to like make it about some political agenda instead of like, well, when we're talking about immigration or abortion or these like big like touchy issues, we're talking about people and like how you feel about those things.
I would say there's a really wide spectrum though, because there's those people who are like extreme conservative or like extreme liberals, but there's also those people that are like, I agree with some of what you say, but I agree with the other side as well.
I think mostly when you talk to people, you realize like all of us just want to have good lives and like provide for our families and.
For example, if you like take me as an example, I guess you could say, but my family like we like Christians, like Pentecostals Christians. So there's like a few things, like for example, abortion. But people are like in my church are like, this is a huge no, like let's not do it. But me and my family are just kind of like, well, we know that we're not going to take a part of it, but why take that away from another person who doesn't believe what we believe, kind of thing. So I think it's just the same way with like everything, whether it's a political party, whether it's like just how the person, like as an individual, you're just like, you're either really extreme about something or you just kind of like chill about it.
And it's sometimes hard because usually the extreme people are the loudest people. So you kind of get this idea like, oh my gosh, we're living in such an extreme place. Like people are saying these extreme things, but I feel like most people aren't extreme. Most people are just quietly believing what they believe and being moderate. It's just that extreme people tend to be the most like, like you will believe what I believe. So I think that's probably true. Can you describe a time, like a really positive moment of being American or like living in America? Do you really not think you're American? I feel like you can be both.
Okay.
I think you're American.
Here's the thing. I always say that I'm Salvadorian.
Yeah.
Because that's just like
These are your
where
roots.
I come from. That's where I, but if I think about it, like there's a lot of things that have become like, I've turned into like this routine where it's like America traditions, I guess you could say. For example, in El Salvador, we don't, Christmas is like, Christmas, cool thing, but we never really like exchange gifts or anything like that. It's mostly just like eating food and spending time with your family. And
no?
Yes and no, because the religion that we came from over there, they like, for some reason they didn't like support Christmas or like anything. And so when we came here, for example, over there churches don't support like any political parties or anything like that. And then we come here around like November of 2010. So there was like a bit of election, not like presidential elections, but there was a lot of
midterms.
And so then the people in our church were like, make sure everyone votes if you can vote. And we were like, what is happening? Like this didn't happen over there. Like, but so I guess in that sense, there's a lot of things where I've become like we say in Spanish, americanizada. So like you've taken a bit of your guys' culture and kind of like mixed it with mine. But personally, I still consider myself, like, if someone were to ask me, I'll be like, I'm Salvadorian.
Yeah.
But I guess in the sense that, like, now I'm here, now I see things in a whole different spectrum. So I guess in that sense, I would say American kind of.
Yeah. You're both.
Yeah. Sure.
I like that example too of churches like telling you how to vote, because I remember in my church as well, people would get up and lecture about voting.
Yeah.
And I never even considered that odd. Like, that just shows how American I am, that like that was completely regular in my church. I grew up in a Catholic church, so it's funny, like, across any sect of religion that can happen. But I think that almost proves what you were saying before, like, political identity is really woven in to, like, the core of this country, and, like, it's crazy. And that's interesting. That, like, really highlights it for me, because I never would have even thought of that as odd, but that's totally odd. Like, that's not what religion is about at all, but there it is. What are some words or, like, some concepts that you think unify? You talked about the two parts of America, or like there's such a big spectrum in America. Some ideas or some words that unify that spectrum. Like, could you that you would say are kind of all America is this way?
You guys just have such a respect for, like, when it comes to, like, you guys' flag and like when it comes to your military, because over there in El Salvador, the military is not considered something that's, like, good. And, like, over there, it's just, like, such not a good thing. Like, the military is not associated with something positive. And when I came here, and you guys have, like, such a respect for everyone who has served in your army, and I feel like that's something that everyone shares. Just, like, this respect that you guys have for them. And, like, when you're singing the national anthem, is just, like, over there, yes, we sing it every once in a while in school or whatever, but over here, like, you guys, it actually has, like, I guess I could say a meaning behind it. Because over there, we just, like, sing it because we have to sing it and we're gonna sing it, but over here, it's just kind of, like, who you guys are, I guess you could say. Like, when you guys sing it, there's just, like, this meaning behind it, and I still, like, I guess that's why I don't consider myself American, because I sing it and it's beautiful, you guys' anthem, but I don't, like, relate to it as much as I should to be considered American. But you guys, like, everyone in this country just like America.
Yeah, like in rallies and stuff when people start screaming or like I'll get goosebumps from our anthem. It's crazy. Yeah.
You guys have a good anthem.
I think it's also we have good singers at our school.
Yeah, so I would say it's just when it comes to, like, showing respect for your veterans and anything that really represents your country as a whole, or, like, it's just, that's what, when you guys really come together and show that, like, pride of actually being American. But,
I'd agree with that.
And, like, right now, I guess you guys have a lot of division going on, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I feel like, yes, there's a lot of division, but when it comes, if it would come to something where, like, you guys will feel like your country, I guess, is being threatened in a sense. For example, like, let's bring back 9/11. Like, if something like that were to happen in which you guys feel like your country is, like, being threatened, you guys would come together instantly and I feel like forget about everything. So I think that's actually pretty cool that you guys, regardless of what party you go for, like, America comes first. And it's just a sense of, like, opportunity for everyone.
There you have it. Dang. So you kind of answered my question. So if you feel like you already answered this, you don't have to keep going. Okay. But just from an outside perspective that became an inside perspective, like, what does it mean to be American? Like, when do you know I'm an American? Or how do you know? Or, like, what does it mean?
I guess
American.
To be American, well, like I said, it's just this sense of pride that everyone feels for their country. Like, whether you're, like, a little kid or you're an old person, it's just, as soon as you hear your anthem, it's this, like, sense of pride and, like, this is my country, like, my founding fathers fought for this, we beat all odds, and we're here as a country now, the most powerful country that like shouldn't even be like here if you think about it. Like they went through so much adversity and stuff, and it's just like, but now we're here, and you all recognize that, and I think this just what makes you American. You're proud of what you have, and like I said in El Salvador, it's like when it comes to the government and such, they're just associated with such a negative idea. And over here, it's just kind of like, yeah, they sometimes don't do their job, but at the same time, it's like you have a respect for them.
Would you say like El Salvadorian culture is more? I feel like it's more. I don't know where I get this idea, so tell me if I'm wrong. But that's like the respect and the like strength and the pride, all the words you're using, is more about family.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Because over there, you can't trust in the government to help you. You can't trust pretty much anyone with power, because there's just so much corruption. So if you need help, you turn to your neighbor. And it's just that sense of like unity over there that it's like we can't trust on the rich, so the poor have to come together and we're gonna form our own country kind of way. Because there's like some places over there where it's like strong poverty that I've seen, and like I thank God that my family never had to go through something that's like we had to skip a meal. But the church that I went to over there, we did do a lot of like collecting food and like bringing it to like, because over there it's amazing how people live. Like they literally have houses made out of like soda bottles, and it's like you see the way that they're living, and it's like I guess it's kind of like here in America where like you guys here in California have like so much, but then you could go to a place like in the South and it'll be so much different. It's the same over there. Like where I lived, there was no such thing as like strong poverty. Yes, there was a lot of like sexism and a lot of like you didn't have a lot of opportunities to actually succeed. It was just kind of like if you have family over here, then you're gonna have a good life for like ever, but if not, then you have to work to only earn $5 a day for like a 12-hour work day. And the church where I went to, we did do a lot of things where we would go to like the poorest places and like give them food. So you kind of have to like, but at the same time, there's like a lot of churches, not to like say that every church is like that, where they're like will pretend to want to help the people to get money, and it's like the corruption over there is just so great that you need to be careful on who you trust, which is why we have this sense of community just with the people around you, because you're like, I know I can trust you, I know I can turn to you and you will not like backstab me or something like that.
And you have to keep that community small, because like the bigger that community gets, the less you can trust people.
Yeah,
that makes complete sense. And I feel like that's why like literally every El Salvadorian person I've met, they like love their family. Like they would die for their family. And like I feel like Americans say that all the time, like I'd die for my family, but like really they wouldn't die for a cousin or like even a sister, you know? Like it's just like a different culture around family where I feel like I just feel like there's such a strength and like respect for like, these are my people. Like
you just have
don't play.
Like you just have to have this respect for your grandparents are like basically like they're royalty in your family.
Right.
Like my mom, when she was little, we don't necessarily, not everyone does this anymore. Like me personally, I didn't do this. But my mom, when she was like younger, for her grandma, whenever you saw her, you had to kneel down, grab her hand, kiss her hand, and wait for her to be like, okay, you can get up now.
Yeah.
And it's just that sense of respect, like I'm here because of them.
Because of you, yeah.
So, and like I'm still like I'm able to have food in my table because of you. So it's like even if your dad's the one working, it's your grandparents that
who like got you there.
Yeah. So it's just the sense of like you have to like your family's all you have over there.
Right.
It's there all you have. You might not have a career. You might not have this. You might live like you might have to sleep on the floor. But if you have your family, you're cool. Which is why like Christmas over there, it's like I said, so much different from here, because over here, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but it's like very materialistic in a sense. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't get a gift, like if I don't get a gift, it's gonna be the worst thing. Yeah. But over there, like you're not expecting gifts, and like still with my family, it's like that. We still don't get gifts. Like, well, we do a little bit, just a little bit, but like, it's just the sense of like yeah, my family is all I have, so I have to like protect them, I have to see for them, which is why when you come here, I guess in a sense going to college is like such a faraway dream when you come here like at an older age, because over there college is not even like a thing, and even if you go to college, like the chances of you getting a job are like so small, so you just kind of have to like hold on to your family, because that's how you're gonna get somewhere in life, I guess.
Well, I think we're good to go. That was amazing. Thank you so much.